Welcome everybody, how are you doing today? Furo here, bringing you a new Shadowverse deck ready for the latest expansion Tempest of the Gods that was released last week. A small legal disclaimer before we are starting: this video is part of a series of sponsored videos by Cygames. And with that out of the way, let's have a look at today's deck. I've tried out quite a few different decks over the last couple of days, and so far one with the best performances is the AGGRO token SHADOWCRAFT deck, which is featuring a bunch of new cards from the new Shadowverse expansion. The core of it is similar to the AGGRO SHADOWCRAFT deck that you have seen before the expansion launched, but due to the new inclusions from Tempest of the Gods, build and playstyle is nonetheless a bit different than before. Your play point curve is still really low, with the vast majority of cards costing 4 or less points, and you are still trying to push as much early damage as possible into your opponent's face, but at the same time your long-term survivability has improved a lot. The reason for this lays in two new cards. First of all, SHADOWCRAFT got a great new tool in form of the Prince Catacomb. The Prince is a 3-point follower with pretty bad stats of 1 attack and 1 life, but on the other hand a superb effect for your deck. When he is played, every of your units is getting the last word effect to summon a skeleton. Skeletons are small 1/1 units, which is per se not that exciting, but having a bunch of them is kinda dangerous for your opponent. Mass banish effects are rare in Shadowverse. That means that your opponent then needs 2 AoE effects to clear both the units that are right now on board and also the skeletons that are spawning out of these dying units. Due to the nature of your early game, you should be able to hit at least 2 other units of the Prince Catacomb on average, so alongside the card you will get 3 skeletons for future use when your units are going down. On top of getting a more resilient board, there is of course also the benefit of additional shadows in your graveyard, plus a very good synergy with your Shadow Reaper followers. Shadow Reapers are 2 play point followers that are getting ambushed for 1 turn and +1/+1 whenever another allied follower is destroyed. With a bunch of skeletons, it is easily possible to get the units up to 5/5 or higher. My best one so far was an 8/8, and of course that was an easy victory then. So much for the Prince Catacomb. The second new card that is helping the deck to stabilize a lot is the Spirit Circle, a 3 play point gold amulet. At the end of your turn you will draw an additional card, and furthermore the counter of the amulet will increase by 1 for each time you're using a necromancy effect. With nearly 30% of the deck using necromancy effects, it should be an easy task to keep the amulet alive and providing you with an additional card draw each turn. In fast matchups you normally have no need for extra cards instead of just going for the face, but the longer and more control oriented a game is developing, the better it is for you to have additional resources available. For example, I had a recent game where Heavencraft player was just killing every early minion that I dropped on the board. Without the ability to push more than 5 damage early, I changed to double Spirit Cycle on the board, filled my hand with some huge burst potential and just killed him in 2 quick turns. The Heavenly Aegis that dropped on the board was definitely not a winner for him. Anyway, with all those little followers on board, it is surely helpful to somehow buff them as well and increase the damage output even further. To achieve this goal, the deck is running 2 Wind Gods and 1 Demonlord Eachtar. I would prefer to run 2 Demonlord Eachtars, but right now I only have 1, and that's why you are seeing the Lord of the Flies instead. The Lord is not the perfect solution, but is also improving the amount of units on your side, plus he can spawn storm and rush units for direct attacks. The Demonlord Eachtar is another new card from the Tempest of the Old Gods set, and pretty good one on top of that. For Necromancy 3 you can firstly spawn zombies until your area is full, but furthermore you will also buff every unit besides the Demonlord by +2 attack and give it rush. This will help you a lot to finish the game if you already have units on your board, or otherwise defend and develop a board if you are somehow behind. Pretty good, I would say. The Wind God on the other hand is a smaller buff unit, which is only providing 1 extra attack on each buffed unit, but because the card is only costing 5, you can use it in combination with some other finishing cards like the Phantom Howl, a card that is able to spawn up to 5 small storm ghosts. All in all, the deck is working really nice for me so far, and I'm sure you will have great success with it as well. So give it a try. To round this video up and give you a better understanding of the deck, I will now show you a few games that I've played with the deck on the ladder, so enjoy it. If you still have questions or general feedback, use the comment section below the video, always happy to help you out. Alrighty guys, we are starting our little gameplay journey today against the Dragoncraft. And Dragoncraft right now is one of the strongest classes to play. They got a nice little tools from the Tempest of Gods expansion. So need to be careful here. We have the Cerberus, which is definitely going back. Shadow Reaper is nice, but I like to play that on turn 4 normally after the tokens were spawning. So right now we cannot keep that. Deadmoon Disciple is a nice card. Normally you also want to get that later in the game, but still it's a 1-drop, so we are keeping that. You want to play a 1, 2 and then a 3-drop with the Prince Catacomb. Unfortunately it's not looking like that. So we have a 4-drop, we have a 5-drop Skeleton Fighter. Okay, Skeleton Fighter is definitely better than the Deadmoon Disciple. Because with the Deadmoon Disciple you can use the Fanfare effect to give an allied follower the ability to ignore ward. So if our opponent is dropping wards, we can just still hit him in the face. So that's why we go for the Skeleton Fighter first. Also, you could also argue that the Skeleton Fighter here can get buffed and then he has a 2-2 if he's killing the Deadmoon Disciple right away. Right now we don't have anything to play on turn 2. So let's go for the Deadmoon Disciple. If he's killing that, we can get a 2-2 on board, which is a bit stronger than a 1-1. Plus, so far it is not looking like we're getting something to play otherwise on the next turn, but he's also going slow and there's a rapid Necromancer, so just drop the Skeleton Fighter. Doesn't matter, so the outcome would have been the same. We would have played otherwise the Disciple on turn 2 as well, because we need something on the board. No Prince Catacomb so far. Our opponent is of course playing a ramped Dragoncraft. Spirit Cycle, that would give us more cards, but right now I just like to push as much damage as possible into his face. The game will surely go longer, but right now his board is still empty and we can just keep on continuing the pressure. Next turn we have the Orthrus, and this one is dealing 2 damage to random enemy follower, and then we are getting +2 attack on one of our random allied followers. So potentially killing a unit on his side and having more damage on our side. At the Breath of the Salamander he can take out the Necromancer, which is still dealing 2 damage in his face. Got a Skeleton Fighter. So without another unit on his side, doesn't make much sense to deal the 2 damage here and buff a unit. So I would say we're going for the Skeleton Fighter and we're going for the Spirit Circle. The Spirit Cycle is getting buffed here. So the countdown is getting buffed because we are also playing the Skeleton Fighter. And this one is using Necromancy. So the countdown is getting up. We're getting an extra card out of the Amulet. And another 2 in the face. So he's down to 13. We're drawing another card at the end of our turn now, which is a Demonlord, which is pretty good. Right now we have a lot of units on the board, so the Demonlord is buffing those guys if they can survive. I mean, that's still 3 turns off. Next turn will be the Cerberus, which is giving us Coco and Mimi, so 4 extra damage potentially. With the Sybil here, he would get an empty play point if he's playing the card on his 5th turn or later, and he can evolve now. So if he's evolving, he will kill the Skeleton Fighter here, the small guy. And the second effect by the Sybil is that he is restoring 3 defense to the leader if Overflow is active. But as you can see here, Overflow is right now not active. The card is coming a bit too early. There is the Evolve, unexpected. So killing the Skeleton Fighter, I would assume. There you go. So he has a 6-5 here on the board. Ooh, we got the Prince Catacomb. That would also be an option now. So we could drop the Prince here, but then we have no chance to kill Sybil. So I would say we are still dropping the Cerberus, killing the Sybil. So we're getting a 5-5 here, evolving that. Little trait. We're dealing another 2 in his face, so he's down to 11. Drawing another card because of the cycle. And have really some good stuff here in hand. We will see what we can do with that. Phantom Howl, that will be another 5 damage in his face if we're getting more shadows here. Right now we only have 2. Plus we have of course the Amulet and 2 followers on the board. So right now we cannot spawn 5 ghosts. But that will help us in the end, I would say. Especially with stuff like the Orthrus here, with the Mimi and Coco. That's definitely good. Right now I would say we are either playing Mimi, Coco and the Orthrus here, or we are going for Mimi, Coco and the Prince Catacomb. I would say that depends a bit on how many units are staying on the board. If these 2 guys can survive, I mean they're only 1-1s right now, so an easy target for most stuff that our opponent is playing. But if these 2 can survive, we're going for the Prince, I would say, because then we are getting 3 skeletons with the Prince. That's definitely nice value. And then we can also set up the Demonlord, because that is then spawning one turn later. So if he's then killing these small units, we're still getting the skeletons, and the Demonlord will buff all the skeletons then. Opponent decides to go for the Rahab, which is a 2-5, but he's also getting buffed by +2 at the end of the turn because there were 2 play points still available. So, we got Rapid Necromancer and Prince. So that means that's even better than just dropping the Prince and Mimi and Coco, because then we can get even another skeleton. So that will be then 4 skeletons. So let's drop this guy, we are dropping the Prince.
What are you hiding inside?
We will then evolve the Rapid Necromancer, which is a 5-4, good enough for the ward here. Plus he's dealing 2 damage in his face. Plus we're getting a skeleton, of course. Then we are dealing another 2 with the small units here. He's already down to 7. We're drawing another card, but the Spirit Cycle is also going away next turn. That means we have 1 more free slot for the Demonlord. And with the Demonlord then, we should be able to kill him that easily, because he's buffing all the other units and we have enough on the board already.
You're a solid fighter.
So when it looks like he just conceded, he sees our power on board and apparently he has no chance to clear everything, so we're winning the first game. Game 2, and now we are facing a Heavencraft deck. Most likely another very control-ish deck. And look at that nice little curve here. Skull Beast on 1, Lesser Mummy on 2 and Prince Catacomb on the 3rd turn. That is really good, especially if the Heavencraft is going too slowly. Only problem could be when the opponent is using some banishing effects. Hopefully that is not happening and we can get the full value out of our small little creatures. We are going second, so we're getting an extra card draw. And unfortunately, fortunately for him, he's not dropping anything on the first turn. So Skull Beast is coming. Then Lesser Mummy, Prince Catacomb. That's a really decent curve. And we have right now the Deadmoon Disciple that we can play on turn 4 if we are not getting anything else. Hopefully we will get something else. Oh, that might be even better. Can even drop more stuff here on board. Getting more skeletons. So yeah, why not? We are keeping the Lesser Mummy, which is, by the way, played better in the late game because of the Necromancy with Storm. So let's go for the Skull Beast and the Deadmoon Disciple. So we have... we need to check this one. So let's just give this the effect. And now attack and ignore the wards. There is non-ward on the board, so it doesn't really matter. But we still need to pick that, apparently. And opponent is again not doing anything on a 3rd turn. That is definitely too slow. We now also get a Skeleton Fighter, so potentially we could just drop Skeleton Fighter on Lesser Mummy. But we want to make sure that we are getting our nice little skeletons here. So we're now getting 4, because we have 4 units on board. That's quite a lot. We're pushing another 3 in his face. Opponent is just going super slow here. Only 1 amulet on board. So he needs to clear the board, but if he's clearing the board, we are just getting the skeletons on it. There's a Wind God, which is really good next turn. So, do we want to kill this guy? We can, but I would say face is a place. Right now we have no shadows here. Yeah, we're just going for the face. Let's just evolve this guy. Pushing as much damage as possible. Then next turn we will play the Wind God, which is then buffing every of our units by +1. Opponent is already down to 10. We will now drop the... we are going for the Skeleton Fighter, which is not as strong as the Lesser Mummy, but the Lesser Mummy can get Storm later, and if we need a few more damage points in the face, that's definitely helpful a lot. Opponent can now evolve. Right now his only unit is the small little menu. There is the Guardian Sun, the Ancient Lion Spirit. And he is dealing 2 damage to each unit, but because we have the skeletons here, we are just spawning more units, so it's not really a problem. So as I said earlier, we now play the Wind God, which is buffing all the little skeletons. We will then evolve the Wind God because we want to have 6 damage here on his face. And we need to kill the little ward. So 6 in the face. And he's already down to 4. Only has the menu on board and the Guardian Sun. And that is most likely GG already. Yeah, he's clearing the board, but we don't care. We have the lesser mummy. We can evolve that, and that's 4 points in his face. Plus we could also go for the Dark Conjurer. That would be another 1 point because we are spawning a ghost as well. But 4 is enough here. That's another quick victory on turn 6. For our third and last game, we are facing another Dragoncraft. So as I said earlier, the Dragoncraft is currently very strong. And that's why many people are trying that out. If you have the cards to do that, because the deck is kinda expensive. We are starting here with Skeleton Fighter, of course. Getting a lesser mummy, Spartoi Sergeant. So you need to keep in mind that the Sergeant is better to be played on turn 2, while the lesser mummy is better to be played a bit later. If you only have the lesser mummy as a 2-drop, then of course just go for the mummy. But the Sergeant is providing you with another shadow, and the mummy can go into Storm later in the game. So that's definitely helpful if you need to push a bit more damage in the face. Also the Dark Conjurer here, this one is spawning a ghost if you have an evolved allied follower in play. That's why normally you want to play that as well a bit later. So we're going for the Sergeant, getting 1 shadow here, 1 in the face. We have the option to go for the Spirit Cycle next turn. We will see about that. Normally against the Dragoncraft we need to be as fast as possible. There's a Dragon Oracle, he's ramping up a bit. We're getting the Cerberus. Still. And right now it's not too great, and we can play the Dark Conjurer and Lesser Mummy next turn both. So we are going for the Spirit Cycle. Let's do that. So we're getting another card draw. We're getting the Prince. Alright, that's good. Definitely like to play that next turn. There is another Dragon Oracle. Oh boy, and Dragon New Fist. That was mean, man. That was mean. There's also a discarding one with the new card, right? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There you go. And he randomly discards one of the lowest cost cards in his hand. Yeah, right. So, not good. Definitely not. We can evolve next turn, so if you just drop Dark Conjurer and Lesser Mummy here, these two are just going down. I would say we're going for the Deadmoon Disciple. And we're going for the Prince, so we're getting 2 skeletons out of those. And the Spirit Cycle is unfortunately going away next turn. Right now we have nothing for Necromancy besides the Lesser Mummy, but we were not able to play that here, of course. So just drawing another card, which is a Demonlord Eachtar. Might be the first time we can play the Demonlord in the video series for today. Would be very nice. But let's see. He's at 6 play points, he can evolve now. So these are not a problem. He's going for the Draconic Favor. Drawing 2 more cards, restoring 3 life. But he's not dropping anything on board, so that should kinda good for us. We will drop the Shadow Reaper here, and we will go for the Lesser Mummy. Gonna evolve the Lesser Mummy and push 6 damage in his face. He's down to 13 then.
Too amusing.
So Breath of the Salamander would kill the Reaper for sure. We would then spawn 2 skeletons as well, so at least we have something on the board. And then we will play the Cerberus next turn. If he's not able to do some AoE stuff here, the Reaper will survive, and then he was getting buffed a lot next turn. So that could be the winning move. It all depends on our opponent's hand. Currently has 6 cards in it, so potentially a lot of options for him. And we should now, with 8 play points, we should see some nice legendaries. That's the Breath of the Salamander. So unfortunately, every unit is going down. We only keep the small skeletons. I mean, better than nothing, but could have been also on the other side. Cerberus. So that is giving us Mimi and Coco. We're going for the Coco. We will buff one of these skeletons here. While we are also, let's evolve the other guy. So 6 more in his face. He's down to 7 then. And as you can see, we are at 7 next turn. That means we can play the Demonlord Eachtar, and he is buffing every unit on our side by +2, plus the units are getting rush, and we're also spawning 1 zombie so far. If he is clearing the board, we are spawning 2 zombies, if we go for the Demonlord in this situation. Otherwise, if for example just the skeleton here survives, the evolved skeleton, we can go for the Dark Conjurer, which is then spawning a ghost, so more damage directly in the face. Plus we still have the Mimi, which is another 2 damage directly in the face. He's going for the Old Guardian, which is a 4/6 with Ward. Could evolve that here. And then the question is, which unit he's trying to attack. Normally he should attack the skeleton because that one is evolved, but maybe he thinks the Cerberus is the more dangerous target. Oh, he's going for this small guy. Ah, wait, he can... oh, I forgot about the evolve effect. Can randomly discard one of the lowest cards in his hand and deal a 5 damage to an enemy follower. Ah, alright. Well, let's see. Demonlord. That is not enough, right? We would buff the Cerberus by 2. We would get a zombie that can kill. So we're missing 2 damage and the Mimi would be the 2 damage. Can we do it somehow differently? If we go for Orthrus, we cannot evolve here. That's a problem. Ah, we're going for the Demonlord.
This head can't be taken.
So we're spawning 2 zombies. One will kill the old guardian. And 5 on the face, so he's down to 2. We cannot attack with this guy because he's only getting rush, but no storm unfortunately. Otherwise the Demonlord would be really sick. And the buff effect, by the way, is only for 1 turn. So that's why the units are now going back to its original form. Lightning Blast. He's banished everything. Problem is only we still have Mimi in hand. So that's the 2 remaining damage we need. And that's another victory with the deck. As you could have seen, our deck is really strong and can beat nearly everything that is currently on the ladder. Dragoncraft is going down again. And with that, we are at the end of today's video. So thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget about that, and see you then on Friday with a new video for Shadowverse.